The 1980s in Los Angeles were a very difficult time. There were disaffected youth across cities in America that didn't have access. It was kind of the urban poor. Helen Samuels was one of the social entrepreneurs that wanted to address this issue with young people. And for her, she saw that information is power. And in order to access power, an individual must have hope, dignity, and respect. And with the proper environment and the proper tools, young people could have a sense of belonging without going into gangs. Helen created a social restoration project called Earth Crew. And what she was trying to do was teach former gang members and graffiti writers and kids that were on the street to purify their pain so that it doesn't rule them. Like the warriors of old, she brought them together into sweat lodges to confront their fears and to confront pain, and took them out to nature to reconnect with the earth, and taught them that if they could create a manifesto to be guardians of the planet, of the earth, then the earth would continue to give back. And so she taught them practices of sustainability and working with the environment and using alternative technologies even to be able to create businesses. These first Earth Crew mural project members were from 6 rival gangs across Los Angeles and 6 graffiti crews. And she got them all to work together. This is during the time of Straight Outta Compton, Crips and the Bloods, and literal urban warfare that was happening on the streets of Los Angeles. And because her mother had worked for Diego Rivera in Mexico, the great muralist, and had worked on his mural projects, Helen knew that art could bring people together, and that art always has been the banner of peace. So she got these rival gangs to come to truce with one another in making these mural projects across Los Angeles. And she became recognized by Mayor Tom Bradley and a number of people. And that set off into a youth sustainability incubator that fostered hundreds of young people in teaching them environmental sustainability and how to be able to turn their life around away from the gangs and into a more purposeful life. So join us for our interview with the great Helen Samuels, social architect of the 20th century. Okay, Herstory Revisited with Helen Samuels. We're on a Shero series right now.
Yes.
and we're going to talk about Techio and what you did for the youth sustainability projects that led to the Green Room. Helen, okay, I'm going to brag on Helen for a second.
Do please.
Please.
When I was 43 years old, I got laid off from this big tech company, and it was the only time I'd ever really been an employee, and so it was kind of devastating because Sophie was still there with my team and I was laid off.
Oh.
Somebody had to be there.
So I was mad, and I went to the Grand Canyon to throw the world off my shoulders. I had this camper van that I bought for $5,000.
Okay.
Good deal.
It was like being a turtle, you know. I could drive around and sleep
Anywhere.
So I would sleep in Walmart parking lots, and I went to
Costco.
a lot of Jubits, you know, those truck stops where you can get showers.
Right.
I was kind of like a homeless person. And I ended up, after going to the Grand Canyon, it was so crazy because I go to the Grand Canyon and there's this abuelita, there's this older Native, probably Navajo woman at this cultural center next to Las Vegas. And she goes, I just came in just looking haggard and menopausal. and she looked at me and she goes, you're here for ceremony, yeah? And I said, yeah. And she goes, hey, she calls her son, you take her down. and show her where to go, and then I want you to sit there and guard.
Wow.
And he stood. He drove me down this dusty road, and he goes, if you follow this road to the end, park, and you can go up, and there's a medicine wheel up at the top.
Ooh.
And I said, thank you so much, and I watched him, and he drove down to where the road junctioned and sat on the back of his truck with a rifle.
Wow, isn't that dangerous up there that he would need a gun?
No, I think he just wanted to protect me because he knew that I was there for ceremony, right?
Sure.
So anyway, when I was sleeping in the Grand Canyon in my van, I had this owl land on the top of my van. And when I was there, I heard in Spanish, as clear as day, this little poem. And it said, deja la lucha, no se identifica, vaya a Mexico, vaya a Costa Rica.
Oh, what?
Very specific.
Yeah. It was very specific. I woke up, I woke up and I called Sophie.
Yeah, you called me and I was like,
said, hey, I got this weird poem, and it's like, okay, I'm supposed to go to Mexico, which I love.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to go to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
But literally the next day I met Hannah Strong.
Wow.
And Hannah Strong said, you have to go to Mexico.
Yeah.
My friend Helen is running the Green Dome Project at the Youth Employment Summit for the UN. And if you could go, maybe you could help her give some business consulting to these young people as they start their businesses. So that was the idea.
Yeah.
So she said she would buy me my ticket. But I was way the F in Colorado.
That's
I had to
long
drive almost 1,800 miles to get home.
Straight.
So it took a few days.
So it took me a few days. And I went home and I flew there and met Helen.
Yes.
So Helen
yeah.
had a project showcasing, if you go to a youth employment summit of any United Nations thing, it's these mega corporations, mostly Nestle. Nestle was offering 80,000 jobs, kind of trolling for slave labor in Mexico, really.
For their plants.
Seriously.
For their factories.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. For what?
They were my enemies.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Big corporate. And Monsanto was very active at the time, and they were our enemies. Microsoft was doing all these predatory things in the software business. They were my enemies. The point is, for those Sheros, Helen is a Shero of the maternal kind. Because Madre Tierra, the Mother Earth, is so much part of her sacred devotional love.
Yes,
your devotional love.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you in ceremony with the Maya, with the Navajo, with the Hopi, with the Lakota.
Yeah.
When your sacred heart is called to the earth, then you understand Native American traditions in a totally different way of how the love of spirit is in everything, and everything is sacred.
That's right.
Yes. And so, anyway, Helen had a manifesto they called them the eco-punks. They were these kids that were, some of them were at the poverty level coming out of the Mexico City dump, and other kids that were reformed in the street.
Some of them former gang members that got out.
And what I admired so much about the youth sustainability programs that you did for Tequio was particularly giving them a manifesto and saying, first of all, be vegetarian because meat is total slavery business in the same way that the people were conquered and enslaved.
Yes. And
so that was part of the manifesto. But also to be an earth guardian in the true sense of protecting the mother. And these young men, they were mostly men, boys.
Yes, a couple of girls.
A couple girls.
Yeah.
But they really took that on as their sacred mission.
Exactly.
And the fact that they were required to create a manifesto. Talk a bit about that.
Well, they never had done anything like that. It was, and that it was a compromiso.
Compromise. Commitment and
commitment, and they're in another world. And they said, this is fantastic. You know, for them, it was bringing the light into their lives in so many ways, you know.
Right.
And strangely, 20, 30, 40 years later, they still come up with their babies, and now
They have their families.
Babies.
Yes. That's right. Their tribes. They have their own tribes. Yeah.
No, and it's magnificent.
Magnificent.
Yeah.
Magnificent. Yeah, it's a big word.
But I mean, honestly, Helen had an idea of there was a bunch of hippies in Tennessee at the farm.
Oh, yeah.
That released their blueprints for sustainable technologies to the extent that they could. It was called the Institute for Appropriate Technology.
Exactly.
Solar, wind, rainwater collection, things that you can do with
Cob
whatever is
building,
around you.
rocket stoves,
heating of water from the roof.
how to purify water off-grid.
That's right. How to grow food, medicinal plants so that you can heal
Permaculture.
yourself.
Exactly.
Reuse resources on your lands and optimize it and make it look like it's a forest. You know, like.
But what Helen innovated particularly was creating repeatable programs for young people, youth, to create businesses around sustainability. That was never done before that.
Yeah.
Way early.
Because you were back in the late 80s, early
Right,
90s,
that's
Right.
true.
teaching these young people.
Oh, and tell them about, you know, that Mexico City, the largest city in the world, the most populated city in the world,
23 million
23
people.
million people,
Has the largest dump.
but had the hugest dump, but they had no
biggest-
recycling program. So a lot of the poor people were like picking metal and stuff and try to resell it, but there was no formal plan.
Let her tell us about that.
Yeah, tell us.
How did you meet these people at the Mexico City dump? And tell me what happened.
How did that come about?
Well, I saw them scavenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do, but I had to drive. It's like a whole city,
Yeah.
a huge. You know, and I've seen them scavenging and stuff and picking things, anything that could be used for something.
Something.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I started to talk to them, but they said, "Oh, but it's really hard because there's no place we can go pee when we need to, and
Sure.
and we have the hands always
Dirty and it's dangerous and germs.
that
Yeah.
we can wash." So I went to the governments of that area,
Okay.
and it
In
was,
Mexico City.
and
Yeah.
it was a woman.
A woman was running the dump.
Yes, it was
That area.
that area was
Okay.
running it. Yeah.
And I said, what can't you put in a baño, dry baño,
A bathroom.
Some bathroom, yes, that they can use. Yeah.
dry
Yes.
bathroom, and they can wash their hands.
Yes.
Well, it was a scandal in the governor above,
Yes.
but it was a fantastic miracle. It was, because so many people got sick, they had noticed that.
Yeah.
And after that, the simple thing that they can go wash their hands before they
Took
eat.
care of it.
And they had to have an hour of rest.
Of rest.
Okay.
Because it's
Yeah, it's very.
this
Real
was-
hard work.
Yeah.
And they had to have that.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know,
So were people employing them? I mean, did they have a job to do the scavenging and
well,
the dump?
they whatever paper they could sell and
Oh, I
stuff
see.
like that.
Plastic,
Plastic.
metal.
But they did on their own.
Plastic,
First,
yeah.
they did it on their own.
Yeah.
But then a program was created. It's what I
Yes.
understand.
And
Yes, because it
then
was successful.
They were able to sell scrap and this and that, and
And the
And that
demand
ended
came,
up resulting in the largest recycling plant in the Americas.
which is incredible.
Literally.
And it was so needed.
And all of these people that were her students, young people that she was just teaching how to make circular
system.
economy
Yeah.
for
Exactly.
themselves.
Right.
And at least, like you said, just something as simple as having running water and a place to go to the
be
toilet.
able to eat.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
can't touch any food.
That's right. When they're in the
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Place, And the government, local government, gave me a baño.
Yes.
And
that's cool.
And water.
And they took care of that.
And they were really, for them it was like, oh, this green guy, what she's doing, but this is fantastic,
Yeah.
Let's follow her.
Sure, but it was cleaning, creating, eradicating some health issues that, were going to happen regardless. And it created jobs. It creates.
And it had like a cabin.
Okay.
So if somebody was exhausted,
they could lay
take
down.
A nap.
Nice. Nice. Yes. That's awesome.
Even later in Mexico,
Yeah.
I would be downtown and near the basurero.
Yeah, the
Hey,
dump.
are you La Helen? Yes.
Oh,
La
la Helen. Oh, la Helen.
La Helen.
Solamente hay una Helen.
Hay una Helen.
The one and only Helen. And Helen is teeny tiny, but everybody knows her. That is so awesome. That's great.
Yeah, but so after that, you ended up meeting a lot of powerful young people that went into government.
Exactly.
Like
Wow.
Alvin was the youngest senator ever.
Come on.
How old was that dude? He was only like 27 or something when he became senator. In
Alvin was
Mexico.
part of that group?
Yeah,
He was from the street?
No.
No.
No, he was at the next
Young entrepreneur.
level.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you just have interacted with them. Okay, yeah.
Helen fostered a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
A lot of people who created businesses out of recycling plastic or recycling
Metal
or
glass,
Exactly.
rubber. Tires
yeah.
were a big thing. What are you
Yeah.
going to do with all these tires?
Yeah.
And people were finding ways of making shoes or making
Exactly.
different
Oh, you
things.
can make all kinds of stuff with it. Yes.
Flip-flops.
But it was so
Yeah.
revolutionary at the time.
That's true.
I mean, if I lived in Mexico in the 70s with my mom, and only for a summer, but whoa. I mean, there were favelas. There were
Yeah.
ghetto, sort of two pieces of metal and
Corrugated metal.
a fabric in front of it as a house.
Yeah.
All over the hills of Mexico City. It was
No water to wash.
poverty was really serious in the 70s.
Food or clean food.
Yeah.
and not clean, and
Yeah.
huge
No water.
rats and
Oh,
not very good system for public
no. They didn't have it.
sanitation.
Exactly.
So the work that you did was not just impactful.
I made it what they call it. I made it valuable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Made them valuable.
Made them valuable.
Exactly.
And dignity. Let's talk
Exactly.
about dignity for
Yeah.
a
That's the
minute.
whole-
Yeah.
yes.
That's everything.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
What it means
they
for somebody to
became
feel
heroes.
useless
Right.
and then suddenly to be useful.
Yeah.
Or to take things that are thrown away just like them
Yes.
and make them into something wanted and useful.
And precious and valuable.
And what that does for your self-esteem and what
That's
it
right.
does for the community and what it does ultimately for the city.
But imagine, it was the biggest dump.
Yeah.
in the world.
In the world, literally.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
It
The
would
dump
take you-
itself was the size of a city.
It'd take
Yes.
a whole hour to
Go around. Oh my God.
Imagine
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah. And walking over piles, like literally.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting also about what you did, because we were in high tech, but we were in international business. So we were always interacting with different idea people that were coming to these forums.
Yep.
And the big thing that was going on with the UN and with international sustainability itself, it was just beginning. And they were like, okay, so here's a model now in Mexico that was super successful. Could we do this in other places?
replicated.
And it literally, like, it went to the Philippines, and then
Oh yeah.
there were so many things that spawned off of the work
Whoa.
that you did.
Yes, it became a
Wow.
model that was replicated.
Other women
I
in
just
other
got
countries.
chills.
Yep.
And it's women always,
Yeah,
isn't it?
isn't
Yeah.
that?
Who
Yeah.
step up, who say, no, we are community, because the grandmothers will bring everybody together.
Women don't
Right.
see garbage. It's all stuff that ends up being dumped. But there's nothing wasted or garbage. A woman doesn't look at life that way because we give life. So everything is precious. Everything
Yes.
has its own value, to its basic elements.
So let's talk
So it's
about
very cool.
Tekio's value of we know the values of sustainability and the values of youth programs that are circular and holistic. But I want you to also speak to native wisdom and indigenous philosophy toward Mother Earth generally, in how this wove into Tekio and the World Peace and Prayer Day and the prayer run.
Where that was the dump is Mexico,
Yes.
but that where you're talking about
The World Peace and Prayer.
is
Yes.
United States.
Yeah, that was here. Yep,
Yeah.
in North America. Yes.
So talk about the bridging between just of the Americas itself and what it means to respect the local, the First Nation people.
The First Nation, the
Oh,
native wisdom, the
yes.
wisdom and the values of the First Nation people.
I took a lot of them, chiefs and youth and different events, world events, and it was magnificent. Once they decided that they were there, then they had something to say. Many went. Many years before they
kept
got
going.
They got in there. They did their prayers, and before they spoke. Nobody else did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Well, even just to have a manifesto, to have a credo that you're following, was a really revolutionary thing for some of these people who had, especially if you have nothing, you're
That's the
treated with
problem.
no dignity.
yes, they treated the Indians like scumbags.
Yeah, it was.
It was terrible.
Yeah, 70s and 80s.
I was really
it was
upset
still,
about that.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of us were, especially if we were in the peace movement in any way.
Yeah.
Because the native people always came with wisdom. They always came with
They're the
keepers.
ceremony.
They're
They
the
always
keepers.
came with elements. They always came with respect. They always came with greeting, and they always came with welcome.
Exactly.
No matter which tribe it was
That's true.
that would show up at a
That's
global
true.
forum.
That's
Yeah.
true. And connection.
Exactly.
And so for the interpreters,
Yes.
we were interpreters. So
Yes.
we were not a part of either one, but we would bring them together.
Yes,
That's right.
The bridge making
That's right.
side. But what I loved about what you did, just as a mom and as a crusader, as you really are, a mom crusader, I think would be like the two words I would use to describe Helen Samuels was mom crusader. Because, with young people, they're unsure.
Yes.
And they require someone to give them permission to
be
grab
great.
back their command of their life.
Yes.
To
Right.
grab back their own dignity.
Exactly.
To grab back
to
their
be great.
to be great.
But
to
understand
resemble
the
it.
value. To understand the values also that are life giving. The values that whether it's the Aboriginal, the Native, the First Nation, their values connected to the earth. Once you're connected, you're part of. If you have no values that connects you, you're disassociated from everything, and you're floating, and you have
that's
no
what the
direction.
colonizers do. They separate you.
Well, the modern and the industrial and all of that, it's us and them, and it's the nature is out there. We don't care, and we're over here, and we could dump stuff because it's out there. The out there was the white man invention, like owning. We don't own. We come, we go. We can't take any of it with us. We're naked when we go, and we're naked when we leave. And that understanding is fundamental in our place in the world, and our worldview derives from that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because we're white. We're Caucasian. We have descendants that came and colonized in different places, but we've also had probably lifetimes and journeys where we lived with the earth, connected with the earth, and that was something that we bring back. So we have all of it. We have the mind, us, and them, and then we're the sand, the metal, the wood, the fire of all around us. We have both, and I think as we evolve as a species, we are, and it's an interesting journey because our ancestor had nothing, and now we're living the kind of comfort and luxury and everything, and so we're on their shoulders. It took us outside of ourselves to try to dominate the elements and everything, but at what cost? And now we realize this is ridiculous. We're all one with everything.
I think sustainability isn't even a dream anymore. When we were all young, it was like an idea. When you were in the Sierra Club in the 70s and 80s, it was this idea of, is there one biosystem that we all are part of? That was a whole new idea.
But when we went to space and we looked at the Earth back and we fell in love with this blue planet, that's when the consciousness went, we're all on this hurling blue rock full of water hurling through space. And literally the love of, not so much us on it, but the planet itself and us being on it, was that first shift of, we're on it. It's brown.
This is home.
This is home. And that, and we're, we went a long way from that, and we still.
Mexico especially feels that way for me. The heart, the heart center of the Americas, I really believe is in Mexico, because there's such a worship of the earth.
Yeah.
Embedded in the culture. And that was a new thing for me to find among a whole, I was
coming
brought
from
up
here.
with
It's coming from
white
here.
people.
Coming from here, it's like, and it's sweet. And it's sweet. There's a sweetness and an innocence and I wouldn't say a naivete, but there's a sweetness from that.
A respect,
but it's, because whatever you send comes back. They see it in everything, right? And so you experience that directly without words so much.
Yeah. And Tekio, to me, when I met you, I didn't have that many other people that I shared that Sacred Heart with. What it meant to show up and include.
Yes.
To show up and include. And young people need that so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
They need a sense of identity that is a collective and that has a point and a purpose. And that's what I think you did in giving them, almost like, in certain native cultures, they have the talking stick.
Yeah.
And only the person who holds the stick can be the one to talk. It's kind of that idea.
Yeah.
I had a relationship with the kids in the city also, but
Mexico City.
City, yeah.
One time, I had to take the last bus to the barrio and get
Little
off,
village and yeah.
And I walked like half a block, nobody like that, and then somebody pops up. Hey, are you La Helen?
La Helen. There's a little white woman walking
What
around.
are you doing here?
What's up with that?
They're gonna kill
Little
you.
tiny blonde woman.
You don't belong here, but we know you.
She must be La Helen.
Yes, La Helen. I had to go to get my friend. Lived in that one. He was fixing some papers for me and some
Stuff. Yeah.
He was working for me, but he was deep in the barrio, and I needed to get that stuff for
From
the
him?
next day.
Okay.
So, and then I have another story of getting off the bus to visit him. When I started walking, and guy comes up with a gun. Because I had my
Your little butt bag.
Yeah, your
fanny
bag.
pack.
Yeah.
No.
Your bag.
Bag.
Yeah, just a big bag with our stuff in it. Yeah.
He jumped up. He said, it's gringa, yeah, I'm a gringa.
You're American, yeah. Give me your stuff, yeah.
Yeah, give me all your stuff. And I tell him, mira, if I were you, you would say what time it is, and I'll tell you, and you beat it because I'm being watched from the top.
Yeah.
They're watching me.
Yeah.
So
if you do anything,
has to get there.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you interrupted,
did it work?
It could be peligroso.
No, but he turned around and said, blah, 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 blah.
And then he leaves, and he left.
He disappeared.
This is how Helen walks with her wand, It's like no
Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, no, you didn't.
I am La Helen.
You can't touch me.
But really,
I was
courage.
always in the deep barrios. And
Let's
stuff.
just say that your guardian angels were very busy making sure you made it from point A to point B, and a couple of times they were going, okay, we're going over here.
For real.
I know.
I've always, especially Michael.
Yeah. And yeah, Archangel Michael, definitely.
Michael.
Yes.
I'll tell you.
Yes.
I've been drowned, dead.
Yeah, you died 3 times.
You've also seen several shootouts.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oof.
Yes.
Yeah, and you have.
No, I'm sitting here and the guy is starting to shoot all over, and I go, and the guy's saying, "Get down there!"
Don't stay up. Yeah.
For the audience,
Yeah.
Helen Samuels was very instrumental in beginning the mural projects across Los Angeles,
Right.
and that resulted in a lot of
Right.
gangs coming to truce and working with one another, and a lot of people were getting killed on those streets. So it was really an important thing of where the mural was placed, what the mural
Was
intent
about.
was.
Yeah.
For sure, the wars
Yeah.
went down.
Yeah, it went down. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
No, don't do it because you're gonna pop it.
But
Yeah, you have to underneath it. There we go.
That's it.
Yes.
no, I really, that death went down.
Yeah. They registered.
Of
They
youth.
dropped. There was a
They
drop
really
of
dropped.
of youth. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough place in the 80s and on the streets of LA, downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, yeah,
But guess what? Who saved the day? The graffiti guys.
right?
Yeah.
I
And the
started-
manifesto. I mean, the fact of them having a credo
Okay.
is kind of like a gang thing,
Yeah.
but it was gang for ethics and gang
Well,
for
higher,
helping the
for
earth.
higher purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They
But,
felt like
yeah.
they were heroes.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
were, by the way.
They
But
could
young
direct
people
their
need
energy.
that.
They have to have a way to direct their energy because they have so much of that energy, and if you don't have a way to direct that it's up and unifying, they direct it against themselves and then
Or
against
against
others.
each other, yeah.
You know, it's sort of that.
Yeah.
But what an incredible. If you think about art, it's pretty, it looks beautiful, and art feels like it's a luxury when you think about art. If you're working for a living and trying to get ends meet and everything, art is sort of out there. The wealthy people have art. But if you look at simple, street art, which is you could get to see every day when you go to a place and everything, the power of art, even street art, is incredible when you think about it.
It is, yeah. And I don't know, were you among the first? I mean, there are mural projects in almost every city now.
Yeah.
But
All over
that
the
was
world, that's
super
true.
revolutionary. And,
That's true.
so Helen was.
Especially the one we did in L.A.
Tell
Yeah.
me about it.
Yeah.
because
Because you did a number of them.
Yeah.
that place was horrific.
Yeah.
Actually, when I went to scale to see whatever
space, yeah.
that there was a man humping a dope
Lumped down.
woman,
Yeah, lumped down, yeah.
and I say, guys, this is what we have to get out of.
Yeah.
We have to send them
Somewhere else. Somewhere else.
hundreds of blocks away.
Yeah.
And because of the mural, now it's the art district.
The art
And it
district.
became the art.
So now it's Bon Chic Bon Jean.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's all
can you imagine the
fancy.
journey from that to that?
A far cry from the hose on the corner.
But community gardens do a
Oh,
similar thing.
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You knew Cesar Chavez
Yes.
and his wife. What was
I have to forget her name.
Yeah, that's
Dolores?
Dolores. Yeah,
No, she's somehow-
Huerta.
No, she knows Dolores Huerta too.
Yeah, wasn't she related to?
She knows all of those people.
Yeah, I know the name, but I don't know.
If it's somebody who's famous, Mexican American, Helen knows
Helen
them.
knows them. Yeah. So tell us about Cesar Chavez.
Well, actually, right now my brain is really skippy.
Oh, you
That's all right.
don't remember
That's
so
all right.
much.
Well, if you do, let us know. It's fine. I mean, it was a long
Well,
time ago.
the
Yeah.
point is, when we're
like
talking
40 years
40
ago.
years, yes. Yesterday.
But in the 70s and 80s, there were a few activist farmers. Cesar Chavez really kind of
Exactly.
led them,
Right.
Exactly.
and it was about. There was no organizing principle for labor in the farm
Farming.
fields,
Farming,
Yeah.
and so he was kind of the leader of that movement.
Right.
And but it wasn't just him. I mean, so many master gardeners, in sustainability,
Yes.
because Los Angeles had so much spotlight because of Hollywood on it.
Yeah.
That's why it's so interesting.
That's interesting. I didn't thought about
The
that.
interaction of for Helen, because she's Mexican, really,
Mm-hmm.
but brought up in America, and her parents were in Hollywood, so she kept going back and forth
Yeah, but,
between. And you
Yeah.
were a producer in Hollywood
Exactly.
for a while too.
yeah, for a while, yeah.
And so it's such a world stage. But if there's a hidden part to Los Angeles of
My
the
dad
Mexican
was a scriptwriter.
Yes.
My
Right.
mom was a
Associated
Press, yeah.
Right. So the voices. Your parents were very much a champion of the voices.
Yes.
The voices of community, the voices of
Totally.
liberation of people, the voices of organized labor.
Oh,
Those were really
my mom's big
on that.
on that.
because
Yeah.
your mom came from the press, and the press had the newsies.
Yeah.
That they were literally called newsies back in
Newsies,
the
yeah.
before
Yeah.
World War II.
Okay.
There was no organizing principle at all for those people. Unions and the big thing in the middle of the 20th century was the role of unions.
Sure.
And but Mexican Americans in Los Angeles were they were in the 70s and 80s were very much labor, but they were hidden away, pushed, sort of almost like neo servitude or something.
Yeah.
And there wasn't, and to have them organize with one another was very much part of the civil rights
Right.
movements
Right.
of the
makes
70s
Yeah.
and all of that. And but what I loved about the flavor you put to it, add a little sustainability, add permaculture to that principle. Don't just bring people together, find a way for all of them to sustain
Work
one
to
another,
Yeah.
to work
To
together,
feed each other.
Yeah.
to be together.
Exactly.
It's very much a grandmother role
Yeah.
to come in.
Yeah. It takes a village.
Even though you were a mom when you were doing it.
Yeah.
But as a single mom, she became crusader for the whole community.
Yeah.
Get them all together. How much unity is there? How many ones are there in one? And if you can bridge between those languages, then you can also bridge between culture, and that's what I
right.
meant by the Sacred Heart of
Yes.
the Mexican culture, particularly.
Yes.
Because the indigenous people can't be erased in Mexico
No.
like they were in the Americas.
Yeah.
Yes,
They were-
that's
yeah.
right. That's right.
And regaining that cultural heritage is very natural to most Mexican culture.
And it's really
They
interesting.
can find any village right next
Right.
door where indigenous people live.
But it's really interesting because in the sort of the current thing with, almost like rising of fascism and, you're seeing kind of all over the world, Mexico has a female president and she's helping women. She's helping the elderly.
Claudia
Sheinbaum.
She's
incredible. I mean,
shining.
we seem to be going, in reverse on all of this stuff, and she's going full on forward in Mexico, setting things that will outlive her, and helping the young one and the elderly and the one in the middle and all that
Women always
sustainability.
do that.
No, but I mean, it's incredible
you would think
to
the
see
Mexican
this
men
today.
Would be, angry.
Yeah, well, and some probably are, but they understand it's better for them because
Yeah, but most of the men say,
Yeah.
wow.
seriously,
Mexican
it's
culture
so
really
inspiring.
respects women in a different way than other cultures. Sophie and I like to go to
Yeah.
Mexico just to feel pretty. because Mexican
Oh,
guys,
even if you're around,
they
they're
don't
like,
care if you're around. They're like, ooh. Even though we're lesbians,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just nice.
But
It's nice to be admired,
but we
from afar.
We traveled as two women, for decades, and they were very protective. They see two women coming, they love their girlfriends, whatever. They don't care, but they're like, you don't want to go there. It's not so good. Yeah, they'll tell you.
Take you under their wing.
Yeah, they're gentlemen, and yeah, it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely.
Well, Helen's a Shero of the Sheros.
Yes,
And she rose.
yes,
Still rising, but
yeah. And we're standing on shoulders,
little tiny shoulders, but we're standing on
strong shoulders.
strong.
Yes. Hey, I'm 80. Yes.
80 years old, still kicking. She's still kicking.
Still have punch.
We're witness. She definitely can. Little firecracker.
Our favorite friend,
La
Helen
Helen.
Samuel. La Helen. Vaya con
Bye.
Dios. Thank you for spending time with us on Herstory Revisited. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show, share it with someone else, and please subscribe. It really helps more people discover the podcast and the channel. Until the next time, stay curious, keep asking questions, and we'll see you soon.